Hello guys, so in this tutorial I want to show you how to create and manage your Python virtual environment from your VS Code. Okay, so if you are just getting started, a virtual environment is simply a small container where you manage your project dependencies or project requirement, as we popularly say on Python. So whenever you're creating a project, there are a lot of requirements that you will need, and then this requirement might be different from the one you need in the subsequent project. So in order for you to manage them and not allow them interfere with each other, you need something called an environment or a virtual environment. So that brings the need for us to actually create an environment when we are working on a specific project, so we can use that environment to manage that particular project. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create your virtual environment, delete, activate, and do every other activities that you need to do on a virtual environment directly from your VS Code. Okay, I've also created a simple PDF that we are going to follow step by step to ensure that we start from the beginning and cover everything that we need to know in this particular tutorial. Okay, so let's get started. Now, the first thing you will need is to ensure that you actually have Python installed in your system. I know this sounds funny, but some persons might have forgotten how to install Python. So you can simply go to this URL here and install Python in your system. But if you have already done that, there's no problem. The next step is to ensure that Python has actually been added to your path. Okay, sorry about that. When I say added to your path, it means that the directory to your Python installation is being seen by your system. Okay, this can be a lot of headache if it actually not been added. So for us to do that, just open any folder on your system. If you're using a PC right now, if you're using a MacBook, unfortunately I'm not using a MacBook, so you have to find a way to do that. So on a PC, I'll just open the PC and I'll scroll down to where I see this, where they write this PC, then I'll right click on this particular place and open property. You should open the system settings for me right now. So on the system setting, that is the about setting, I'm going to go to the right hand side and click on this advanced system setting right here. So once I click on this advanced system setting, this small dialog box is going to open for me, where you will see system property, and then at the bottom of it you will see environment variables. So I'll click on this environment variables. You should open this bigger dialog box, and then you see user variables for user and system variable. What we are looking for is actually the system variable. So I'll scroll down to the system variable and I'll click on this path. So make sure you click on path and you'll see that it highlights the way my own is highlighting right now, and then I'll click on edit right now. So once you click on edit, you should see all the Pythons that have been installed or added to your variables environment variable. So if yours has not been added to this environment variable, then something is wrong. You actually need to copy the path or the directory where your Python is installed and ensure it is added exactly the way mine is added in this particular place. Okay, now I added this one to just be sure that everything is actually correct. So it's the same installation, but one of them has /script and the other doesn't have. So if you're unsure of what is going to work, just try and add both of them. Okay, so in my case, assuming this has not been added to my system variable during installation, I would have just copied this and then come somewhere here and just paste this and then click on. Okay, just make sure you copy everything right here. So I'll copy everything right here. So and just click on this and paste it and then click on OK. So just go to the directory where your Python is installed, copy the entire directory and come to this place and add it. So once you've done that, make sure you click on OK. For me, I'm just going to click on cancel because I'm not doing anything. But you just have to click on OK in your case and click on OK. And then when you come to this place, you click on apply and then OK. Okay, and then that particular steps will be completed. All right, and then now we are sure that our system has actually, our Python has been added to a system variable. For some system, after doing this, you need to restart your system for it to actually come together. All right, so the next step is to install Visual Studio. Okay, but you are just going to skip that because I know you've already installed Visual Studio. If you don't, simply go to the Visual Studio code right here, code.virtualstudio.com, and download your own free version and start coding. Okay, so the next step after that is to make sure that we install the Python extension in our Visual Studio. So once we open our Visual Studio here, I already have something I'm doing right here. So I'm going to open a new window right here. So I'm going to open a new window right here, and this is going to open, and then I'll make sure I close this previous window so that I'll focus just on this one. Okay, so once you have this new window right here, go to the extension market. So right click on the left hand side of this particular place, just open this extension market right here. And what you want to do here is you want to install the Python extension. Okay, and this Python extension allows you to do a whole lot of things, but it's an intelligent system on VS Code that allows you to do maybe sometimes code completion, error detections and everything and such. So you just install this particular one. So if you see, I've already installed mine. So if I want to uninstall it, I can just click on uninstall. But if you don't have yours in your VS Code, what you should do is to install this particular extension and wait for this particular extension to install. So once that particular extension has installed, you can restart your VS Code for it to start working properly. Okay, so once you've done that, the next thing you need to do is to open and select your Python interpreter. Now a Python interpreter is the existing virtual environment in your system. So on Windows, if I click on Ctrl Shift P, I should be able to see all of these options right here. And then I'm going, if it's on Linux or maybe MacBook, this should be Command Shift P. Okay, so once I've seen all of this here, I'm going to type Python right here. And so once I type Python, I'm going to see all of these options of Python around this particular environment, right? So what you are looking for is to select this Python interpreter. So I'll click on select Python interpreter and I should see all the environment, right? All the environment that are already activated on my system, right? Or that I've already created on my system right here for us, for me to select. But for you, since you've not created a Python environment yet, you're not going to see this option. Okay, so the next step is to show you how you can actually create a Python environment in your system. So to close this particular place, I'm just going to select any interpreter. We are going to come back to that, right? So how do you create your own Python environment? So the next thing you need to do is to come to your VS Code and open a new terminal. And you can do that by simply coming to this three dot sign on the top left hand corner of your screen. So I'm going to click on that and you will see terminal, and I will just click on new terminal. Okay, so by default of window, whenever you click on new terminal, it is going to open that new terminal with PowerShell. Okay, now you need to switch from PowerShell to the next one. The reason why you need to do this is because PowerShell does not allow you to perform a lot of things. Okay, there are some scripts that you cannot write on PowerShell terminal. Okay, so we are going to switch that to command prompt or git bash if you have git installed in your system, which I highly recommend for you to install into your system because it allows you to do a lot of stuff. It's a very powerful terminal for you to do a lot of stuff. But if you don't have git bash, you can simply just open command prompt right here. So I'm going to open command prompt. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to try to create a folder where our project is going to be located. By default, I am in the user directory, so I'm going to say dir. This dir is to check the directories that are available in this particular terminal. So if I enter this right now, I'm going to see all of these directories that are available right here. So what I want to do is to see if I can enter a specific directory. So I'm going to enter my documents directory because that is where I want to create this particular project. So I'm going to do cd documents. So I'm simply saying move into this directory. So that is what this means. So I'll see cd into that document. As you can see, I've actually entered into that document right now. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to make directory. So I'm going to say make directory mkdir. It's simply saying make directory. It's a simple, terminal command that we use to, do a lot of stuff. So I'm going to create a project folder that I'm going to say call this project test. Okay, because we are just testing a few things. So I'm going to do that and then enter. Now that project directory has been created. The next thing is for me to cd into test right now. So I'll cd into test, and thankfully I am now inside test. Okay, so for us to be able to start doing this, I'm going to clear this terminal so that it will be clean. So I'm using this command called clear. If I enter this command, they say clear is not found. That is because clear only works in Linux and macOS. So for this particular one to work, I'm going to say CLS. Okay, it's a short form of clear, but for Windows specifically. So if I enter now, you can see that our terminal is now clear. So how do we create a Python environment? If you go back to our small cheat sheet right here and you scroll down, if you scroll down right here, you will see that this is the command for creating a Python environment. Okay, so I'm simply going to go back to our Windows or our terminal right here. I'm going to type Python hyphen Python hyphen m. So this is saying Python make. That hyphen m means make. So I'm going to say hyphen make venv. This is saying Python make virtual environment. Okay, so this v is virtual while the env is environment. So this command is simply saying Python make virtual environment. But there are one more thing you need to add, and that is the name of the virtual environment, what you want to call that particular virtual environment. Most people simply call this .venv. It's very common for you to call it .venv, but I like giving sweet names and to my own specific virtual environment. So I'm going to call this virtual environment Sophia, so that it will be very easy for us to detect that particular environment. So I'm going to say Python make virtual environment called Sophia. So I'm going to enter this particular place, and it's going to take maybe a few seconds for us to create that particular environment. So let's just wait for it to see. I'm going to pause my video, and then I'm going to come back once that has been completed. Alright, so we've successfully created our virtual environment right now. If I go to this particular directory there, I should see this virtual environment. So if I open my folder right now and I go to documents, so I'm going to find documents, and I'm going to look for that particular folder called tests. I'm going to open test right now. As you can see, there is a Sophia environment in this particular place, and it has been created for us. So the next thing is for us to actually activate this particular environment. Now there are different ways you can activate a virtual environment depending on which terminal that you are. So if you are on Linux, you are going to use a different one, but since we are using command prompt, we are going to use a different one. But all of them are available on our cheat sheet. So if you open that cheat sheet, which by the way I'm going to include in the description of this video, you're going to see how to do that. So if I scroll down right here, this is the way of activating the environment in Windows, and this is another way to activate it in Mac OS or Linux. So we are simply going to copy for this particular Linux, or by the way, let's just type it by ourselves. So I'll simply go back to that terminal. So the first thing you need to do is to enter the name of the environment .sophia. So that was the name of the environment, and then /. The next one is script, which start with a capital letter, and then it's plural because you need to put S. And then the next one is / activate .bat. Okay, so that is the command. The name of the name of the environment /script /activate.bat. So this command will allow us to activate that particular environment. So if I enter right now, so you can see that that environment has now been activated. The way you know that's been activated is that you will see this particular name of environment in bracket just behind the directory of your particular project there. Okay, so you see that particular name of environment right there. Now the way you activate or deactivate your environment is to simply type deactivate into your environment right here. So once you do deactivate, it should simply just deactivate that particular environment for you. So if I do enter right now, that environment, as you can see, the name of that environment has now gone out of our system, right? So the way we activate it again, just the same way I've mentioned previously. I'm going to copy this and paste and ensure that we have the dot just behind it too, and our environment is now created. Now everything you install inside this particular environment should be only available for this environment. So inside this environment, there are some things that are already available for us. Since it is a Python environment, we can do a few things like pip list. So pip list should list out all the requirement that you've installed into your system, right? So if I do pip list, it should list out all the requirements. As you can see right now, there is no package installed into this environment except the pip, which come when we actually created our environment. So let's go back to our cheat sheet and see some few things that we can do. So now we can now install some some stuff into our environment. So let's install request. So I'll simply copy that request. We have to install this request into our environment right now. So if I go here and I paste request right here and then I enter, so it is going to copy this request or download it online and put it into our project directory for us. That is exactly what it's going to do. As you can see, it has already started. You can see collecting requests, and then depending on how fast your network is, it's going to download everything and just install it into your environment for you. My network is a bit slow right now, but if we go to our project folder right now, so if we go to our project folder, This is our project folder. You're not going to see anything right now because we've not actually, ensured that we carry that particular package that is being installed into a particular folder. So if you go back to our cheat sheet right here, you'll see how to do that. So with pip freeze, we are simply saying that carry all the packages that are environment and add it into a particular document. So that document can be anything. It can be food.txt, music.txt or anything. But in Python, we usually just call that requirement.txt. So that is where we install or we gather our requirement and add. Okay, so we'll go back to our terminal and see the progress. So it has successfully installed that particular package for us. Now, if we do that pip list again, once more, pip list and enter, we should see that it has now installed a few packages for us with their version. Okay, just because we install this request. Okay, so now if we do pip list or pip freeze requirement.txt, it has now created a requirement.txt file for us in our project with all of those things that we now just installed. So if you go back here and you go to test, you should see this requirement.txt. Now if you open this requirement.txt, maybe in our VS Code right now, so let's open it in our VS Code. Okay, let's open it in our VS Code right now. So you should see that they say trust you. Just open it. So you can see that this is all of the stuff that we've actually just installed and it's now available for us to use in our project. So that is exactly how you install Python environment into your system and how you use it. Now, one last thing I'm going to show you is if you open a particular directory and maybe for some reason you're not seeing any Python environment, there is a little code that you can use to check if there is a Python environment in that particular directory. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this code. So just open this code right here. This is the code right here. So just copy this particular code right here and paste it into your terminal. So if you paste this into our terminal right now and enter, it should list out all the environments that are available for us in that particular directory. Okay, so it's going to take a few seconds, but it's simply going to happen and you should see that. So just save this directory just in case you need to find out what kind of Python environment that are available for you in that particular directory. One more thing while we are waiting for this to work, one more thing is to ensure that once you're done with whatever you're doing in that particular directory, always remember to deactivate your Python environment so that you will not make mistake to install some packages that you might not need into that particular environment. Okay, as you can see, this has actually listed out the environment and it's showing us that this is the environment that are available for us in my specific system. Okay, so that is how you can create and manage Python environment using your Windows PC. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section and I will try to answer that as much as I can. If you also have recommendations, suggestions, also try to drop that and don't forget to like and comment on this video so that it will encourage me to create more. Thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one.